then. So 3 items of equipment that a Roman soldier would wear, that you'd see wearing. Number 1. A T U, yeah, T-U. Hold your pencil like that, properly, Chris. T-U. N-I, a tunic, fab. And a H. H. Doing really nicely. H. E. H. E. L. M. U. A helmet. What else? A. S. Keep it going, doing really nice. Keep the flow. Up, lift your arm. That's it. S. H. I. E. I. E. L. And a shield. Cool. Fab. Now, what about in terms of equipment? What equipment would that, well, sort of weaponry would they have had? They'd have had one example of a weapon they would carry. Yeah, lift your arm up to get where you want to go. S. H. S. H. Keep going. O. R. Short. Keep the flow. Keep the flow. That was nice. When you held your pencil properly, you did so well then. Go for the... That's it. Nearly. Feel better. S. W. O. R. Yeah, they had a short sword. And they also had a javelin, so like a spear, with a pointy bit on the end, which can only ever be used once. So the Romans would throw it, and once it landed in enemy lines, the top part, the dangerous part, would fall off, so it only became a pole. And the reason they did that was because they didn't want the enemy to be able to use. Keep going, keep the sentence. Use. I. Use it. A. G. A. I. N. S. Use it against. T. H. E. Yeah, didn't want them to use it against them, so that it couldn't then become dangerous to and kill their own soldiers. Now this is I mean the Romans were quite, as we know, they were quite enlightened really, and they did see a problem that we still suffer from in this in this day and age, where you sort of give weapons to one side in a war, and then 40 years later you're then on the other side, and then they're using your weapons against you. Can you think of a place where that's happened recently? A. F. Yeah, perfect, you're right. Go for it. A. F. F. G. H. A. N. I. S. Thank you, it's lovely to see you.
Mum.
Thinking about Mum or something else? Mum, no, she's downstairs, yeah?
Yeah.
Good jobs. And we said goodbye to Karen, and we said hello to Mum. Yeah, and we're doing our concentrating. Where were we? And I clean my teeth. Afghani. S-T-A. And yeah, exactly. In Afghanistan, in the Cold War, we supply the Afghan people with weapons to fight the Russians. And now, of course, we're over there and they're using those same weapons against our soldiers. So the Romans, you know, they obviously didn't know about the kind of weapons we'd have in the future, but they certainly got the idea about it being used against you. And like I said, when I talked about the artillery operators, they started to have rather big parts of machinery. So they had things called catapults, C-A-T-A-P-U-L-T, and they had something called a ballista, B-A-L-I-S-T-A. Now they were big pieces of machinery, and they were operating. They could send boulders or fireballs, so wood on fire, across into the enemy from quite a long distance. Another thing they had was a battering ram, which I think we've all seen in films when they're trying to get down the door of the drawbridge into the castle. So an example of some of the machinery that the artillery operator would be responsible for would be A, B, A, L, I, S, T, A, a ballista. Okay, so it looked really just like a kind of a, obviously like a cross is what I'm trying to say, sorry. And it was levered and then put, it was kind of that way. And they would put the rock or the weapon on there. That example, sorry. And then they would push it down, so sorry, they'd aim it, push it down and then fire it and flick it over to the enemy. I think that would work properly. So it's quite a mechanical thing, and it was made of wood. And what do you think might have been the problem with that? Remembering they're walking long distances, they don't have amazing transport. What would you think to be one of the logistical problems? I-T-it, W-O-U, W-O-U, keep it going mate, W-O-U-L, it would be, it would be, H-A-R would be hard, T-O-M-O-V. Yeah, it would be hard. You've hit the nail on the head. And what they had to do was actually, after every battle, they just left this equipment. So what other problem would that resolve? So you've got over the problem of having to move it, but then that then means each time they go to a new place to battle, they have to do what? D-H-E, they, H-A, they, H-A, perfect, they, H, keep it going, Chris, H-A, they, have, E, have, T-O-B-U-I-L, have to build. Which sentence, mate? Doing really nice. Build. Hold your pencil. Build. T-H-E. Build them. A-G-A-G. A-I. Yeah, they had to build them again. So you can see how when the empire got bigger and bigger, the more stretched that the army got as well. They had to do these things again. So far we've looked at their organisation, the kind of equipment and weaponry that they used. So what about kind of the training? Because that was another key point in the Roman army. Training. So what did they do? Well, they started off, they made sure that everybody went through strict training. They put 8 men in tents together. And they were very, very strict, and their punishments were quite brutal. So if there was a problem, if there was any cowardice, or if a battalion didn't do very well in a battle, they would do something called decimation. Decimation. So what punishment might they use? What did I say they would use? They would use decimation. Decimation. Now what this meant was they would basically line all the soldiers up, and they wouldn't necessarily start from the beginning, but they would pick somewhere. So they'd say the soldiers are all here in a line, and they perform badly, or what was the other reason they might be doing this? Is it
1 hour?
1 hour? It probably is 1 hour, yeah. C-O, well done. C-O-W-A-R-D. F-E-I, coward. I-C-E. Yeah, they've been cowardice. They would line them up, and they would start from a random point. So say they started from here, and they would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then that 10th person would be killed. And then they carry on counting another 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then the next person will be killed. And that's how they did it. So why do you think they used decimation and didn't just kill everybody? B-E-C-A-U-S, because they W-O-U-L, because they would L-O-S, L-O-S, W-E, because they would lose. T-H-E-I, lose their A-R-A-R. It's okay if you ran. Hold your pencil properly, Chris. Turn your hand over. A-R-M. Yeah, they would lose their army, and they'd lose that particular battalion, so obviously it wouldn't make a huge sense. How do you think it made the soldiers feel, this kind of punishment? If you were a soldier in the Roman army, how would you feel? T-E-R-R-I-F-I-E. Finish up your word. Terrified. Hold your pencil properly. Point so much better with your pencil. Put your leg down. Chris, put your leg down if you can, mate. Sorry. Terrified. I would be terrified too. But in terms of like an impact on the soldiers, what sort of impact do you think this kind of, constant living in fear would do? Do you think it would make them better at their jobs or worse at their jobs? You think worse or better? So, which one is worse or better at their jobs? Better, yeah, for fear of being in that line. I think you're right. So maybe see why the Romans were so successful, because they ruled with an iron rod, as they say. Now, they also made sure that all of their soldiers were very fit and very strong, so they did lots of physical exercises too, because they had to march and run very long distances each day, and they also had to carry a lot of equipment. So why would they, what else would they do for their training? They would make sure they were they make sure they were fit and strong. Okay. Now, what about, I said about the shield earlier, that the shield would be the most useful thing, and it was, because they, again, armies before the Roman army, they hadn't really been organised, they weren't really fully trained, and they didn't really have weaponry and equipment. Where do you need to go? Oh, thanks. Come back to the table. So one of the things that the army had, the Roman army, that other armies hadn't actually had before, they had they had training, they had organisation, and they had like standard equipment and weapons. But maybe what set them apart, possibly even more than that, was the tactics. T-A-C-T-I-C-S, tactics. So what did I say made them stand out even more? It is the T-A-C-T-I-C. Yeah, tactics. Now, tactics are used in sport, for example. You use them in football to, I don't know, they have different formations. They'll have maybe 3 at the front to score goals and 5 at the back to defend. And sometimes if they want them, they've got a 3-0 lead, they'll switch their tactics and they'll put 7 to defend so that they just don't let any goals in. And they'll only have 1 up front to score because they don't need any more goals. So maybe, what other area can you think of an example that maybe used tactics? Have you got another area? Yes or no? Yeah, okay. T E A team. O team of down there, see? Right, now you've got to, now look, you've got to really point now precisely, okay? Because it seems like you're not, lift your elbow up and have a go. So we're a team of R, did you want R over a bit? Down, down, down. R, lift your pencil up, that's it. Now where do you want to go next? You can do it. R. I think Y is going to make sense. Can I help you? R. U. G. B. Team of rugby. P. P. L. A. P. L. A. Well done, Chris. P. L. A. Y. E. R. S. Yeah, a team of rugby players. I'm sure you've seen it. They've been playing rugby at the moment, and England have just won a cup. Did you know that they've just won a cup in rugby? Yes or no? No, it's called the Calcutta Cup, and it looks a bit like a watering can, to be honest. And I can't remember that. I think England have to play certain people. They have something called something like maybe the Five Nations, and within that, two of the teams of England versus someone. Whoever wins that wins the Calcutta Cup. But I'll find out for you. I can't remember exactly which one it was. But yeah, definitely footballers, rugby players use tactics, and an army used them in just the same way. Now, what the Romans did, they used their shields as a major part of their tactics. So they had different formats. They had one called the tortoise, the orb, O-R-B. They had the wedge. So what would happen? The tortoise, that would be for advancing and protecting. And if you can, well, I'm sure you can think about this. If you're a tortoise, what do you think they were doing with their shields? H-O-L-D-I-N. Holding, yeah, holding. Hold your pencil, because you're so much more precise when you hold your pencil. Put your leg down, mate, if you can. Yeah, put this. Well done. Holding. T. H. E. Holding them. A. B. O. V. Above. Yeah. Give the E. Above. T. H. E. I. R. Above there. H. E. A. D. Yeah, perfect. Holding them above their heads. So they actually did look like a tortoise. So there would be lots and lots of shields, and the people on the edges would hold them slightly down so they were protected under the side too. And then what would happen when the enemy archers were firing their arrows, it would just bounce off. So it would protect the men from underneath, and that meant they could move forward without actually getting injured. Now the orb was different. The orb was for splitting up if they'd been encircled. So if the army was here, the Roman army, and the enemy had got them in this way, then they would put the shields in front of them and the spears above their shields, and that way, and then they would move forward to try and split them up. So the difference between the orb and the tortoise is to do, because as well as the shields above their head in the orb, they also have their S, P, E, A, R. Yeah, they have their spears up as well. And then they can start to split up because they're using the spears to force their way through. Now the wedge was used aggressively to divide the enemy. and that was used when the enemy couldn't break their line. And they would keep the shields not in front on top of their heads, but in front of them on here, and they would use them like a battering ram, really. So if they were pushing forward and they wanted to break up the enemy line, they would use which tactic? They would use the W, E, D, G. Yeah, they would use the wedge. And what about if they wanted to advance and move forward without getting injured? What format would they use then? Or what tactic? B, T, O, R, T, O, I. Lift your arm, move your arm, move it round. Drive it up. S. Yeah, the tortoise. And the or, what was that used? That was used to split up or to E, N, C, I, R, C, L, E. Yeah. And before any battle, as you mentioned earlier, because they had to rebuild the big catapults and ballistas, and also they needed it for weapons, they would cut down all the forests nearby so that they had it for themselves. Before any battle commenced, they would clear the area. So they did quite a lot before they even started to fight the Romans. Now, how is that relevant for today? Well, the Romans really, they started off the system of democracy. Obviously, given the fact they used something like decimation, they weren't totally in kind of a free democracy like we have today. But they did start off with the people choosing who was in power. That did come from the Romans, and they started a system that we use today. Basically, like the Houses of Common and the Houses of Lords. They had an upper and a lower Senate. So that has lasted and come down through the generations to us. They also became like looters. They took what they could, basically, wherever they went. And I thought that sounded similar to the British Empire, because wherever we went, we always utilised their resources, like in India and America, we used everything that they had. So that kind of fitted with that as well. But they also started the philosophy of power and humility. So that they really appreciated that because they had power, like in democracy, that they also could be kind to people, even though at times they were brutal as well. And of course, the organisation of the army, the British Army is particularly well organised, and it's kind of a well-known fact that they criticise the American Army for being a bit more gung-ho and not as organised as us. So if you had to summarise maybe what we could take from the Romans, what do you think maybe you would say?
Well, no.
Yeah. W, W, H, A, H, A. Try that down. Hold your pencil, puppy, that's it. We, H, A, V, we have T, A,
One there.
Yeah, 1 hour. T, A, K, E, we have taken T, H, E, give your I, we have taken there. S, S, Y.
One now.
Yeah, 1 hour left, me and you. S, Y. Hold your pencil properly. S, Y. S, T. doing really nice pointing then. That your shoulder, your arm was up, and you were holding the pencil correctly. That's it. S, Y, S, T.
Right there.
Yeah, I'm just going to finish this off. S, T, E. System. Arm up, arm up. Up to C. C, R, A, C, Y. Okay, fab. Let me get your drink.
One now.
Oh, actually, you're just eating those, aren't you? Just give it a few minutes and then you can have
One now. 1 now.
1 hour?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 hour left. Let's put that on so we know when to have your drink. Okay, great. So what we can do tomorrow is just do a short essay on the power of the Roman Empire, really. A Roman army, sorry. So we'll look at that tomorrow. What we're just going to do now, have you got a message for anybody? Okay, who's it for? The message is for... Or is it a message or something you want to tell us? Okay.
One now.
1 hour?
Yeah.
1 hour till we finish. Finish it, that's it. Don't use your finger, Chris. I am in did you want it? Right, sit up a minute. I am in, start from there, I am in
One now.
Use your feet, yeah, you want to get your position. You're doing really good, 1 hour. H-A P E Y, I'm in a happy. M O M O O, in a happy mood. A N okay, try it down. Turn your hand over, that's it. F, E, try with your pencil, I'm not sure where we're going. Let's start again. And F, E, turn your hand over, Chris. Turn your hand over. Right, let's get your drink.
Wanna.
Probably a bit less than 1 hour now. Finish that one off for me, mate. All the way down.
Go.
And F. And the rest, mate. F, E, and E, and feel. Just finish that off for me. And feel. M, U. Hold your pencil. That's it. Well done. Well done. C. Much. B, E, T, T, E. Oh, is there more? Is that finished? Oh, that's lovely. Chris. I'm so glad you feel better. You can see you're so happy.
Wanna.
One, you're thinking 1 hour or something else. 1 hour till we
Wanna.
finish. Okay, so that's lovely. I'm really glad you're feeling better. You look dead happy too. And so tomorrow we'll carry on and do the essay plan about the Roman army. Okay, but now, sorry, before we move on, we can either do keyboard, speech work, we can do some reading. Some reading?
Yeah.
What would you like to read? I've got articles from a newspaper, or we could read Mr. Nobody's Eyes. Did you want to do articles or Mr. Nobody's Eyes? Do some articles?
No.
Okay. Yeah, we'll read some articles
Yeah.
together.
Wanna.